Did you know the IRS just hired more than 50,000 new agents? Most of these agents specialize in collections and are mandated to audit small businesses and increase collections on individuals. IRS notices can be intimidating, but waiting to act could cost you your valuable taxpayer rights. Don't try to handle the IRS alone. These agents are trained to track you into agreements designed to collect as much money as possible. Don't pay thousands of dollars to a marketing company claiming to be a tax resolution firm. Get behind the shield. The enrolled agents at Elite 8 Tax and Financial Services are experts at tax resolution, protecting taxpayers' rights, and are federally licensed to represent taxpayers before the IRS. Elite 8 Tax and Financial Services has the knowledge, skill, and experience to assist you with audit representation, liens, levies, offers and compromise, innocent spouse relief, wage garnishment, back taxes, and more. Don't lose sleep, time, or your rights as a taxpayer. Make your appointment today at elite8financial.com to schedule a consultation and get the IRS off your back. Get behind the shield.
Good Monday morning. How's everybody doing? I'll give you guys a hot second to come on in so you can learn how to win. Oh man. I'm exhaustedly excited on this Monday morning. My team is killing it. We're working very, very hard on these Black Friday and Cyber Monday specials. But I didn't forget about you, the Boss Talk audience. So I'm here in the studio early in the day, getting ready to get this thing going. And I want to tap into your brain and ask you, do you remember you? I'm gonna let that marinate for a second. Do you remember you? So some time ago, you had decided that you would start this business, or you decided on this career and you invested in the education and licenses and everything in that career. And that was so long ago that in the process, you've made some sacrifices, you've made some compromises, you've had some long days, some long nights, and you've had some success along the way too. You may have gotten that degree, you may have gotten that professional license, whatever the case may be, and you're making progress toward these things that you set out to do. But I started to notice that there's somewhere between like massive success and average success where the self-care part stops. You tend to, at that point, you go on vacation like once a year and you're dying for that time to come. You're looking forward to Friday, can't stand Monday, and maybe you've grown a family, you've got consumed by family, and you start to get into this monotonous thing, right? So you go to work, you do your job, or run your team, or whatever the case may be. If you're a business owner, you're doing your daily operations, then the family has your, obligated time as well. You're doing this or that or the third for the kids, and everything requires so much of you that you forgot about you. So I want to challenge you guys to look into making a self-care agenda. And I'm not just talking about going to the gym, because for a lot of you, that's just a stress reliever that if you didn't go, you'd probably choke somebody. So, no, I want you guys to think about a self-care agenda, whether that's getting a massage. You should have a relationship with your massage therapy. They should know you by name, have a routine of when you're coming or something. And I would say at a bare minimum, you should be doing that once a month. Maybe there's the occasional road trip, just a short drive, a getaway, anything that breaks the monotony of what you do on a regular, that kind of brings you back to that center and give you some mental peace and an escape from what you're doing all the time. And here's the reason why. What happens if you forget your why? You probably read the descriptions like, oh, George is going to talk about this, that, or there. But what happens if you forget your why? What is the fallout? What is the consequences of forgetting your why? And I can speak to this, directly, because a long time ago, I had forgotten my why, and I got so caught up in the frustration of things that were going on and things I couldn't control or whatever, that I forgot why I was doing what I was doing. And the fallout was catastrophic. Well, my doctor always said I was an extremist, so of course it was catastrophic. But since that time, that was something that I learned, was that you always have to put your self-care at the center of what you do and prioritize it. I remember when somebody first asked me, well, what are your hobbies? And I didn't have any. All I ever did was work. So I didn't know what a hobby was, right? And then it dawned on me that, wow, I hang out a lot with my family, my extended family or whatever, and they're all gone now. This was post Katrina, and it was like, that was that slap in the face of, I took this for granted. This was my outlet. This was my escape, and it was gone. So I had to figure out what the things were that I enjoyed in life. Now, if you follow me now, occasionally I golf, fish, hunt, always smoke my cigars or whatever. These are things that I really, really enjoy to do. And in fact, I need to do these things more often, but find those hobbies that you love. Find those things that bring you joy and bring you a relief, and do not apologize for prioritizing it over anything else that you have going. Like some people say, well, yeah, no, my kids just didn't. Sometimes the kids got to figure it out, and that's a hard thing to do as a parent, is because we always want to give our kids what we didn't have, right? But sometimes you got to let the kids figure it out. They'll be stronger for it. Prioritize your self-care at the center, because that is the core of your mental health. We talk about mental health a lot in society today. At one time, we didn't talk about this at all. But that's what's really at the core of your mental health, is you being able to come back to a center, prioritize yourself, relax. So maybe you can't take more trips, but go get the pedicure. If it's a cigar thing, go to the lounge. If it's brunch with the ladies, whatever it is, you have to take that moment to get recentered so that you can go back into your why reinvigorated. When you find yourself exhausted, don't know how you're going to get to that next moment, you need to be reinvigorated. That also requires you, now I'm going to make you uncomfortable. This also requires you to evaluate your circle, because you may have people around you that's actually draining you, right? And they're not trying to drain you. They're not trying to hurt you. They're not haters, none of this stuff. They are just not on the level you're on at that time. And trying to communicate with them requires you to go smaller, requires you to play smaller, requires you to explain yourself. And in doing that, you're losing time, you're losing energy, and it's time to upgrade your circle. Now, there's some people out there that's stupid. They're going to say right at this moment, they're going to say, well, that don't sound like loyalty and you cutting people off. If you go back to what I was saying, focus on you and make yourself that priority. What happens is the people that's not designed to ascend with you, they naturally fall off. I was reading this story about, how the eagle takes its prey, and I forget what the bird was. I think it was a crow, likes to get on the eagle's back and, irritate the hell out of them or whatever. And the eagle don't try to flip and turn, he just take flight. go higher and higher and higher. You get to the point where the crow can't breathe. He get dizzy and fall off, and the eagle keep on flying. Sometimes you have to let them crows fall off, go so high they can't breathe. So, moral of the story for today, your boss motivation lesson. This is homework. And many of you have time off this week, so you have a little bit of extra time to invest in this. Find your joy. Find your joy. Shout out to my man, Brian Joubert. This guy lives his joy no matter what. He's built the team around himself or whatever so that nothing interferes with his passion. He might have 2 days between this and that, and he's flighting out the country. I got to spend a lot of time with family in the recent weeks, both my family and my new family. And it really just kind of pierced the armor of, I had tunnel vision, and it made me be able to step back and go, wow, people are seeing what I do. People do appreciate me or whatever. And I can take a moment, to rest or whatever. Now, if you follow me, I'm all about my self-care anyway, because at any given moment, you'll see the Crown Chronicles, you'll see the cigar breaks or whatever, but too many of you right now are, what's the young people say? They capping. You trying to look like you're doing the good life or enjoying life through snapshots in social media, because you're trying to keep up with something, with the influencers or whatever. And what you have to understand is their calling may not be yours. Shout out to my cousin, Jadon. Everybody in my family is absolutely beautiful, and she is living her best life, but she gets opportunities from these companies because they realize that she just draws people into her just doing her thing, and she happens to be one of those people that like to catch all the moments. So everybody else is looking like, wow, you're doing it real big or whatever. The truth be told, she works like a dog. She really gets it in, but she makes no apology when she go to play. She works hard. She plays even harder. She understands where her center is, and she always gets back to it, and also in your circle, you need to be able to have counsel. If everybody's at your level, who do you, in the words of the old In Vogue song, who do you run to when you need love? Well, sometimes that love might come in the way of some understanding, some counsel, experiencing something you haven't experienced before. If everybody's at your level, playing on the level you're playing with, you don't have that counsel. And we're not talking about an age thing, because we all just have different experiences. I'm happy to be able to turn to different corners of my circle, even though it's small, but being able to turn to different corners of my circle for different things, and that's okay. It doesn't make your best friend not your best friend, or all of these little trivial ass things y'all be doing, with these emotions. I was thinking about this early this morning because I read, and I didn't engage it because I thought it was stupid. But you guys are coming up with terms today that's just like things that's been around since the beginning of time. Y'all want to coin it, give it a term, and then assign it to people that don't align with whatever your opinion is. So I was reading this thing about gaslighting and narcissists or whatever, and it was like, at the end of the day, what you're really saying is, if someone made you feel this way, then this is what they're doing. And I thought that is a really, really weak mindset, because we're not addressing the real problem there. The real problem is you allowed somebody to make you feel this way. Whether that was you put yourself in that position, or you didn't leave that position that you had to be in, or just you're not emotionally mature enough to control your feelings so someone else can actually make you feel. And if someone can make you feel something, they can impact your thoughts. And at that point, they control you. Do you really want to allow people to control you? I don't know. That may be a thing for you, but whatever. Get back to yourself. Find yourself. Too many of you, there's this old Earth, Wind, and Fire song. I can't think of the name of the song right now. I just remember this lyric from it where they say, something happened along the way and yesterday is all we had. Too many of you are living, as Stevie Wonder would say, in your pastime paradise. You had this success back here, or you did this thing back here, and it was the last time you did something. You have Al Bundy syndrome. You know, you're always talking about what you did in high school and you're 54. You know, it's time to do something else. It's time to be great again. You know, you have to examine what's stifling you. And for some of you, your biggest challenge is pride. You're staying on that job because you don't want somebody to say, oh, something wrong with them. They quit that good job. You're staying in that relationship because you don't want somebody to say, oh, well, yeah, they marriage failed, or, you know, they're in another relationship, or whatever the case may be. Those people gonna die in you too. And at the end of this thing called life, you either lived it your way or you lived it their way. But when it's done, it's done. You can't relive yesterday. So put yourself at the center. This has been Boss Motivation. Want to shout out to, let's see who's watching here. T-Cake's in the building. What's going on, Kenya? My man Bakari, what's going on, brother? Yes, I'm just trying to give a little message and hope it touched somebody's spirit. Somebody needs to hear it. I don't know who it's for today, you know, but it was on my heart and I put it out there. I want you guys to have a great week. Happy Thanksgiving. Look for me on social media this week to see what deals we have for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, because we're probably going to release all of those on Wednesday like Walmart do the early Black Friday thing. See you guys then.
Boss Talk Radio, keeping it real, yeah, that's for sure. I said a Boss Talk Radio, here for your needs, we'll crack the code. Need a boss, ooh, need a boss, ooh, yeah. Need a boss, he's the boss. Need a boss, need a